Good hello, welcome back to my reaction to this Hollow Knight speedrun. Without further ado, we'll get straight into the episode. I just want to inform you I am putting stuff together for the final episode of the blind playthrough. I got a lot of footage I need to cut down, but it should be ready by the time we get to the end of the speedrun reaction. So thanks for joining me, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the episode. Okay, I've eaten some dinner, I'm back to watch the next part of this. Probably watch another hour, then take another break. Just because it's a lot to watch through in one sitting. Although they are playing through it in one sitting, so I congratulate them for that. It's just, you know, sometimes you need little bits of breaks for various reasons. But I mean, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. Like, seeing 100% or 106% run in a game is great, especially as a speedrun, because you see all these things and the skill that they have. Like, even when they mess up every now and then, like we all do, you know, depending on what sort of run it is, sometimes that'll end the run and they'll have to start over, but other times it's small enough that they think they can recover from it and they just keep going, and I love it. It's great.
Yeah. Yes. Our second nail art from Shio, who is definitely a homie, is
Shio's
the Great
great.
Slash. And the Great Slash is got like a big thick hitbox. In certain circumstances,
still on...
it can do 2 hits at
Yep.
once because its hitbox, because of the way its hitbox is shaped. And then we're going to head over here to pick up the Thorns of Agony charm. And all these green path platforming little gauntlets are kind of a little bit more difficult in some ways than others, because when you have a gauntlet that's full of spikes, you can pogo the spikes in Hollow Knight, but thorns are not pogo.
Thorns are suck, as I have discovered in the Path of Pain in particular.
It makes total sense because you can pogo spikes in real life, but you can't pogo thorns. So.
There is a Grimkin here, and we're going to lure it to the end of the room, since that's the way we're moving, and we managed to dodge out of a couple fireballs there, so...
Yeah, he was like in the ceiling. I've never seen him up there, but sure, okay.
Yeah.
That's apparently a spot he can spawn.
Very annoying enemies, especially because they laugh at you the whole time.
Yeah, it's so hurtful.
It's like very, very rude.
They're incredibly annoying because they're so hard to catch up to. That's the worst bit of those that I found. And then the harder ones start hitting for 2 health when you get up to them.
Several times throughout the run. If you play casually, you definitely know who Cornifer is, but for anybody who is unfamiliar, he is the NPC
who gives you all the maps.
And in the speedrun, we don't need any maps. Maps are not a percent.
Oh, you're just straight up bypassing Grim and
the compass charm
moving on. Oh, you're going for Crystal
so we will see her
Peak.
at the very end of the run during our shopping trip. Taking
right, because there's one up there.
To re-enter
oh no!
Peaks from the side. That is
it ate my jump input.
Oh. Hollow Knight is.
That's unfortunate.
Hollow Knight is not always a well input handling game, particularly on some of the older patches. It is the downside that is paid for being able to take advantage of some of the small minor glitches and fun things.
Okay, but so that's how that's supposed to look.
Now down here we're going to be saving a grub. Oh, nice grub. Wait, are you a grub? You're not a grub. For me, I think this was my first mimic, and I was not.
This was my first mimic.
In the run, we do already know it's a mimic. However, it's a good source to farm soul for the next upcoming Grimkin, who's in this this upper room here.
Oh, this was the worst Grimkin thing.
Grimkin are
that I've fought, I think.
Well,
at least the first of that level of them. The more difficult ones,
take care of them. So
they were worse.
It's worth time to take a moment and farm a little bit of soul before encountering them. We've got another relic to pick up here, and we're also going to be farming soul off of this Glimback. And in a lot of cases, the enemies that we farm, if we're bothering to kill an enemy, it's usually for two reasons: either to farm soul from, or to farm geo from.
Right.
A little while ago, for example, when we were on the way to the Lake of Un, there's a guard there, and instead of ignoring him, we killed him for his geo. Here in Crystal Peak, we're going to fight the Crystal Guardian, and he's not quite defeated. He's just angry, and he's going to jump up through the ceiling, but we're going to follow him and fight his enraged version, which does double damage, but happens to be guarding
These
a mass
lasers
shard.
are not great.
Yeah,
Well, they're not great at the
lasers
end
that
of the
come from the
fight. I
ceiling
discovered
are
that.
complete RNG, and
Before then,
positions that
it's not the worst.
that
It's
they
just
come
a
out
matter
at
of
sometimes
avoiding
can
them.
just very much be inconvenient.
Yeah, those he like laser, pun intended, targeted me, and I I had to do some weenie stuff to kind of make up for that health loss, because we still have a lot more to do here, and it's still very dangerous.
The first time through Peak, we opened that lever and gate that we just passed so that we could climb up that way right now. And we're going to once again kill that enemy for soul, and then this is one of those very satisfying sea dashes I was talking about. By clinging at the very top edge of that platform, you're able to go through most of that room just effortlessly. And then we're going to stop here to free a grub, and then head out to do a little skip involving this crystal hunter. Lets us get up to the top level quickly.
What's
and
up
we're
the
going to
top
be
of
climbing
this?
to the top of Hollow Nest's
Oh, there's a
crown
grub in a
to
wall,
pick up
isn't
a
there?
pale ore.
No, it's that wall that they
Even
just
though the mail
passed.
upgrades don't come until much
So I
later
guess
in the
there's
run,
not a
the
grub
upgrades
then. It must be
are,
something else.
percentages, and so we need to
Was it
collect
a load
ore
of
as
geo?
we
Was
go.
that what it was?
Do we have
And-
time for a quick donation?
Sure.
Oh wow, that's
Thanks.
impressive.
We have a $500 donation from the Yeti saying, "Hey all, Yeti here. I have been tuned in all week watching amazing speedruns, and I'm so proud of the amazing work being done at this event. It makes us especially grateful to be able to help out. A big shout out to Mikoto and Queenie for incredible tea designs. 100% of profits go directly to Malala Fund. That being said, we really like to see the Captain Toad treasure tracker bonus levels, don't you? Please put this $500 towards unlocking all those levels." Absolutely. Thank you so much, Yeti, for your generous donation. And just to update everybody, we are at $77,000
Wow.
raised for Malala Fund. Thank you, everybody, for your contributions. But we still have a little bit more to go to unlock Pantheon of Hallownest. And just a reminder that all incentives go towards that milestone, so you can select any incentive.
So
and
what-
it'll go
what are
towards
these
our
exactly?
milestone goal.
Pantheon of Hallownest. Is this
Nice, so
like
close to the
after the
milestone,
run
guys.
they
Thank
have
you
to
so much
the
for all the support.
Emre here has to go and take
We
on
just upgraded the
the
Grim
guard
Tower.
home
We
path
got the 3
pantheons?
clones
Is
from
that
the
what it
first,
is?
Level 1 Grimkin, and now we're going to be moving on to the level 2 Grimkin. They're a little bit beefier. They've got an additional move, but once again,
They're
as
actually
long as we
easier, I
approach
think,
them
than the
with
first
a
ones.
goodly amount of
It's the
magic,
third ones that
they're
suck.
Pretty much easy to deal with. And once we kill that Grimkin, we're going to gate back here to Crystal Peak. We've got another charm to pick up in Deep Focus, and I think this is a charm that it sounds so good, but then it's just a little bit too slow to be appealing.
Yeah,
Unless
it
you're really going for that healing build and stacking it maybe with some charms that complement it.
yeah, I
That's
didn't
not
think it
something
was
that we talked
particularly
about a
useful.
lot
It
because
takes
it's
too
not
many
a
slots and
mechanic
it's
that's,
pretty slow,
taken
and when you
advantage of in
add
the
quick
speedrun,
focus to
but,
it, it just
for a more casual
it goes
player, or maybe
to
if you're doing the
still a
randomizer,
little
lot
bit
of the
slower than normal,
charms
I think.
work
It wasn't
together with each other to give
Yeah.
additional bonuses. And Deep Focus is one example. Deep Focus makes it so that you heal 2 masks, but the healing time is slower. But if you wear Quick Focus with it, then it's back to your regular healing
Okay,
speed,
so it
but
is
still
regular
heals at 2
speed.
masks. So there's lots of little fun combinations.
Yeah, but
like
you with
So
that
let
you're
me just sit
taking up
there.
6
Might seem
charm
kinda weird
slots.
putting a dream gate at a bench.
Like you're better
I
off
wanna
just
take a
having
moment to
quick
shout out
focus on
someone
its
named
own, I think.
Scruffy. Scruffy is someone who like basically comes out of nowhere and reroutes all of our categories and just gets world records, and he is an absurdly good gamer. So I'm actually showing off his new world record route today, and the entire mid game is very scary, very dangerous. But it saves a lot of time. I ended up PBing by about 3 minutes whenever I switched over to his route. So it's a fantastic routing concept. So you might not have ever seen this route of 106 if you have seen 106 before.
Yeah, and here we're taking advantage of the lever that we hit earlier and the shortcut to go immediately from 0 into this Grimkin fight. There's a vessel.
Then
or,
looks like you're
a
heading
totem,
into
rather,
the
behind
right
that
side of
wall
City of
that Emmerich
Tears
took
from
advantage
here,
of
right?
To get soul. And now we're going to take the elevator down into the City of Tears. And this is actually our first time really
Right.
on the right side of City of Tears.
Yeah.
So
Sorry to cut in, but I have an exciting announcement. We reached our incentive or milestone goal of $77,777.77 to unlock Pantheon of Hollowness. Great job, everybody. Thank you so
Wow,
much for
you
your
can clear this
contributions to
really
Mama
fast
Fun.
if
We
you do it
unlocked
like
our
that.
bonus game. Thank you so much.
yay, thank you so much, everyone. And that'll really be fun to look forward to. For those that don't know, it was talked about a little bit earlier, but the Pantheon of Hollowness is the boss rush of the game. It is a current patch area, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see Emery tackle that after the 106 run.
We
Okay.
also have another bid board for that too, because of the fact that it's on current patch. We can use something called Custom Night, and Custom Night lets us use whatever skins we want, and we have a lot of great options. That should probably be opening up pretty soon.
Yeah, be sure to check those out. I am a huge Custom Night fan. The Hollow Knight community has a very healthy modding community and also a ton of amazing artists in it. And, Custom Night kind of highlights both of those things. Emery did overcharm here, and that's so that she can have on both the Grimchild as well as Flukes. We're going to fight a Grimkin on our way to Hornet 2 here in Kingdom's Edge. And this one is one that is a little bit tricky because you have Flukes instead of the Shade Soul, and the way that you fight with Flukes is just very different from the way that you fight with Shade Soul. But if you can get a good solid Flukes on them, then it's over pretty quickly.
Okay.
And
So
we're gonna
Flukes
head
can
over
be
here to
really
fight
useful
Hornet.
looking at all
She
of
is
this.
guarding the
I
King's
never really
Land,
tried
which
with them
will
much
allow us
aside from that
down
one
into the
time
abyss
in
to get our
the
Shade Cloak,
Colosseum.
and then our
but
movement will finally
Looks
be
like they
free.
certainly have their purposes.
This is a fight that can be a struggle, but with
Wasn't
Flukes
too
on,
bad,
the amount
really.
of damage that you can do can get it over pretty quickly. So you just have to be mindful of being overcharmed and not face tanking.
Yeah, this Hornet fight wasn't too bad. It was a little tougher than the first one, and I lost it the first time through. But it's actually Hornet's
Hornet, of course, is
a really nice boss to fight because she telegraphs herself so well, which means all you have to do is avoid the damage, and you're relatively fine.
do what must be done. And after this second fight, we won't have to fight her again. And just a little bit.
I gotta make it a little bit spicy. Just a little bit.
And there we saw a little bit of more wall cling storage as well. Thankfully, even though we're on 1 health, you can't die during this part. It's a scripted section of the run.
Yeah, I figured that out after it
This
happened when it
dramatic
sort of
exit here,
stopped
I
me.
believe Emma's gonna
But
be
at
going
first it
for,
was somewhat
another form of mind control.
panic-inducing
I
when
am
the
debating
ceiling
doing
started
it.
falling.
I don't think I should.
Okay.
I'm not going for it. I'm a coward.
There are a lot of things that save a little insy bitsy bit amount of time that if, like, you know, we were talking earlier about some of the Fury fights and stuff like that, that if you're going for a leaderboard competitive
there you are.
time,
I was like, I got a little scared there because I didn't see the Grim Child, but I forgot the Grim Child shows up after. This is all part of the new Scruffy stuff. Not Scurry, they're a different person. Yeah, so you can actually permanently soft lock your game there. I have a backup file ready for it, and I decided not to go for it. And I got kind of scared because it's like I haven't not done it before, so yeah, we're good. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, no worries. Yeah, like, you know, in a marathon situation, you know, even if you have a backup ready, going for something that you know can possibly soft lock is just, you know, not always the move. And I think that's fully understandable. You know, there are strats that are safety strats, and there's strats that are, you know, gotta go fast strats, and then there are, you know, swag strats, which are perfect in any situation. We've made our way past the Great Hoppers over here to Nailmaster Oro, the greedy one, who charges us 800 geo to learn his dash slash, which we don't even get to use to its fullest potential here in 106. But if you really like dash slash shenanigans, please check out all skills on 1221, because the ability to hit things through walls with dash slash is even more extended because dash slash extends the nail hitbox. Down here below Oro, there are a few things that we need to finish collecting before.
Yeah, I really didn't use the nail arts. I just
we're gonna be headed toward a grub
I
and another charm.
it
and
feels
then we're
kind of
going
like
to,
Charge Beam in
this
Super
is
Metroid
making our
or
way,
even
to another
most
area.
other 2D
There are
Metroids,
also,
in that
the
it's
cracks in
just
the wall that Emre just
not
passed
quite
through. There's a
useful.
somewhat secret area down
You can
there
do a
that,
lot more damage
gives you a
by
clue to the
absolute,
Mr.
like
Mushroom
especially
quest,
in
as
Dread.
well as has
You
a
can
very
mash
large
the
rock that's
shoot
420
button
geo.
so fast in that the
lot of people may
charge
or may
beam
not have
is
found that during their
completely
casual.
useless in
But
Dread. Like
unfortunately,
you
not
can
all
just
of the secrets are actual
spam
percent, so some of them don't
energy
see
bolts
in
of varying
106.
sorts
The
straight
charm
we
at your
just
enemies
picked
by
up
just
is the
mashing.
Quick Slash charm,
And it
which
does
allows
so
us to swing
much.
our
It's
nail
better than
faster.
using
Not
missiles.
one
It's
that
better than
we'll
using
get to take
charge
advantage of in
beam.
this category,
Like and that's
unfortunately.
kind of what using
But
regular
let us
attacks in
see
this
it
feels
and
like,
be on
is
a
that you can
hologram.
just hit fast enough that
Uh,
it does
and we're
more
gonna overcharge
than
here again before
like the
we
nail
head
arts,
into
unless you
Season,
can
and this time
unless
we're
you
going
can
to be fighting
absolutely perfectly
Grim.
time your nail
The
arts
music in
to
Grim
the
fights is
charge, how
some
long
of,
it
I
takes,
think,
and be
hands
able to do
down
that
the
and
best
concentrate on what
in the
else is
game.
going on. If you've got that
And
kind of
although
skill,
this
well
fight
done,
can be a
great.
bit tricky,
But
there
I
are some
can't
strats to go
focus on what's
very
happening
fast.
while
The balloon
perfectly
phase is
charging it.
something that Grim does every 25% of health. So if you're able to do enough damage, you can actually skip balloon phases.
I think I missed the quick kill. I think too many went over his head.
Yeah. It's something that's very, very calculated, and again, when you see the flukes flopping
Okay,
around,
so
that
there is
means
a
that they
faster
didn't
way to
a
get rid of
chance to do
Grim here,
damage,
then.
So, yeah, if
Okay.
too many missed, then it's going to be...
You know what I am going to do? I will skip over Path of Pain.
I tried to move and it didn't move. Okay, it's okay. We get another chance to
I'll
do the
skip
quick
over
kill.
Path of
Okay,
Pain
we're
because I
good.
don't want the spoilers.
We're fine.
And I'll stop once I get past Zote. But I want to see their
Oh, wait, hold on. I
strategy
need to
for
go get my
beating
shade
Zote
first.
so that I can actually do it. Because then I might
Yeah,
just
part of the
go
Grim
and
fight
record that for
requires
you
going
and
in
add it to
on
the
full
episode
soul. So
that
once
you've
Emma
seen.
grabs her soul from inside the tent, she's
Because
quickly
I really
following
want to
the
get
soul
past that
down
Pantheon.
in
And
Crossroads.
Zote's just a pain in the ass. I
I
won't
didn't
stop
get
this
a
to
chance to
record it.
explain it the
Well, I
first time
might,
through, but
depending on
Grim
when it
vowed
happens.
at the beginning of the fight,
Um,
if you are
but
to attack him with a regular attack, regular
Grey Prince
magic,
Zote
or
sucks,
a nail
and I
hit,
would love
he
tips
gets
on how to
very
beat him.
mad
So
and
seeing
goes
how a
into
speedrunner does it
balloons,
is
so
a
that
great
you end up
idea.
dealing with 4 balloons instead of the normal 3 balloons that you would in a fight. But because of the strangeness with the way that flukes behave, Grim doesn't unstagger, and you're able to unload, is it 3 or 4 full sets of flukes while he's still just bowing?
It's 3. The damage rotation that I'm trying to do in the fight is very, very specific in order to skip the balloon. I was gonna try to set up for a certain position to go for 3 flukes there, but I don't really understand what happened and how I died, but the game didn't let me move right for whatever reason. Hollow Knight being spaghetti like it is. Yeah, but anyways, we're gonna get it this time. Or your money back. I'm kidding. Thank you for supporting the Malala Fund.
A no money back guarantee.
Yeah, and you can see that time that the flukes, there's none left flopping around. They got a full land on that attack. And
So there is a
most of
tip
his
for
attacks
fighting Grim
have,
here, basically.
A window for you to attack, but if you want to get a specific.
Will
number
they
of
even
flukes
fight
out,
Grey
the spikes out
Prince
of the
though?
core is the best.
Because
And
they left Zoke to die.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that'll eliminate him from the rotation, which I would have loved
That
to
is
have done.
one of the hardest fights in the run. Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. We have a $599.87 donation from Anonymous saying, "Save the Nailsmith, kill the Pantheon." And another $200 donation from Anonymous saying, "Love this marathon, love the runners, love the games. Let's see that Hollow Knight bonus run. Oh, and save the Nailsmith, I guess." And just to give a quick update to everybody on our bid war for saving or killing the Nailsmith.
Well, the Nailsmith
Save is
didn't live
actually
in
the lead
mine.
right now at $776, and kill
Because
is at
primarily because it was right
$612.
off the back of beating
And
Hollow Knight
we
the
actually
first
do have
time,
another bid war
the
up
Hollow
for the
Knight,
custom
and
skin
being
bid
really
war.
quite
And right now we have Hat Kit and Mimikyu
confused
at
about what was
$20
happening,
each. So
as well
be
as
sure to,
confused about why he was
donate
ending his own
and
life
get
and
your
all of that.
custom skin in.
And then someone else, then getting in
Yeah,
that
and
same
both of those
episode
are
the final
very
upgrade to the
amazing
nail, and the
flute
Nailsmith
skins.
being like,
I-
hey,
I could talk all
run
day
me
about
through
Hollow
with
Knight.
your
I also
nail.
could probably talk all
I just
night-
went,
all day
why
about
does
Hollow
everyone
Knight
want
skins
this? Whatever,
because
here you
there's
go.
so
And I
many
was
of
just
them.
so out of it,
There's
really,
literally
at
over,
that
like,
point.
100 different
Whereas if
options
I'd done it
of
in a
custom
different
skins for your
episode,
nail
if I'd
to get
upgraded it
into,
in a different episode, I
modding custom
probably
night after
wouldn't
your
have
casual
killed him.
playthrough,
I would have
and
contemplated
they're
it a
very
lot
easy
more.
use.
Colette is actually
But
the
right
one
off the
who,
bat of that,
runs
back
that
of that,
document,
I
so
just
she's the
I
one to
just
reach out
listened.
to.
Yeah,
If
I,
you wanna
I
see
have just a
what we
list, and
have.
like every time I find a new public skin, I just add it to my
I just
list,
did what he
and,
wanted.
I'm planning on adding like some pictures so that people can see without having to download it. But there are so many. I have to say it again. So many great artists that donate these
excuse
skins
me.
for people to use.
What are you going to
after
buy
spending
now?
Hours and hours. The sprite sheet for Custom Night or for Hollow Knight is very, very detailed, and making a unique custom night that's more than just like a recolor of the cloak or something like that. There are many that are like full Hollow Knight sized recreations of characters. It's just amazing. We stopped by to see our buddy Lem once again, and now we're going to head over to the west side of the waterways. We've got a grub to pick up here, and then we're going to be sea dashing just over the surface of the water on our way to get a mask shard. And this exit of the waterways generally would require a gauntlet that you'll see after Emery goes through the next transition.
I imagine there's a better
But
way
with,
up there.
more lever skips shenanigans. We're going to slash it through the gate. This is one that does require one of the nail arts to activate.
Okay.
And it's going to put us back out into fungal wastes.
Oh, dash slashed that. Nice.
Just like that. So we don't have to mess with all the harumps. And that's,
I also want to note real quick that it's very important that I stay at full health over the course of everything I'm about to do.
Why?
Yeah, you were very narrowly missed by a fluke while you were picking up that mask shard. I was biting my nails.
Why do you need to
the
stay at
flukes
full
can
health
get
through
into
this?
that run with you, and sometimes, sometimes the Grimchild will do you a solid and take care of them. Sometimes they'll just magically dodge you, and sometimes they will hit you as soon as the mask shard animation is complete. That little spiky gauntlet was to get over here and save Bretta, who somehow managed to get herself stuck down here in fungal wastes.
Yeah.
I want to know how she ended up down here. I don't know how she.
I don't know.
managed to
She
get
probably
acid and
followed
mushrooms
someone
and
she
stuff
thought
in
was
it.
cute,
Um,
based on
but we want her because
everything else.
she has a mask shard hidden in her house, and
I'm
we'll
trying to get
pick
some
that
extra
up.
soul here. I need to make up a lot of soul in order to do the section correctly, so I'm gonna take some time to farm here. Grimchild
Mantis
is not
Lords.
helping me.
Grimchild has the worst aim in the world, unless you want him to miss, and then he is a sniper. But we
I
are
might
back
not be
up.
able to do this.
We're back up to full health. Yeah, there is basically some. I don't know if it was necessarily a quick kill technically, but a very, very fast Mantis Lords fight with flukes. But it does require having enough soul for the flukes, and we're a little bit short here. But even without the ideal amount, this is still going to be fairly quick.
Okay, we might be okay with that much soul.
Yeah.
I'd rather show off the fight correctly and lose a ton of time in the, because this is a showcase, you know, like we're having fun.
Yeah, see, I don't need to see a world record, really. I just want to see a good speed run. That's why I chose this one. That's why I go for games done quick. They're not necessarily world records. They do have world records on their occasion, but they know how to commentate. They know how to present it really interestingly. They
That
Yeah.
C-dash that Emre queued up there was really calculated to force the Mantis Lord to spawn.
I think the
on
world
opposite walls
record
so that
ones
she
I
could dash
focused
over
on
and
for
then
like Dread.
Yep.
Oats and
Yep,
Goats,
and just like
as
that,
he, grabbed
the second
records
phase is
really
done by
early on in
just a few
Metroid
things
Dread
first.
was fantastic to watch.
That guy, I think that guy is full.
There was a
mainly
couple
for
of other
soul.
people
We're going to
early
want to
on
have full
when it
soul,
first released who were
going into
nailing
fungal core, because
nailing
in
it,
fungal core,
and
this
it
is
was
part of
a
one
lot
the
of fun to
reroutes. We
watch.
now fight a Grimkin in the core. We used to pick up a different one, and we didn't have to mess with this guy. But the level 3 Grimkin do double damage, so when you're overcharmed, that's going to be up to 4 health, since overcharming is double damage. So we want to be very careful going through fungal core. There's also a mask fragment at the very end of fungal core, but fungal core is an area that you have to have both pieces of vertical to enter. You need wings and claw, so it's a little bit of a late game area, even though the enemies that are in here.
What do you
are
mean
not
wings
super tough
and claw?
enemies.
You can go to Fungal Claw without the wings.
But it is a place that you don't have the ability to access early on. There's a few little shortcuts here where we'll fall through, and then as we get to
You can get to Fungal. Oh no, hang on, no, you're right. I forgot about
Nice.
that bit.
Very
Okay.
nice.
Also, right here is the first mask shard you're gonna see me quit out on. As soon as you see the mask that started to fade in, as soon as that starts to happen, I'm 100% safe to quit out. The game has registered that I've obtained it. It saves a bit of time.
Yep,
Yeah.
so we'll save and quit out of here, and we're gonna be going to finally take
Dream Nail?
advantage of our King's Brand and head down back into Ancient Basin.
Oh, you're
towards
heading for the
to get
abyss.
our Shade Cloak.
Nice.
This is an area that is, again, a later game area. And it's kind of a strange combination because there's a bunch of crawlids, which are just plain regular enemies chilling, crawling along, and siblings, which will come at you and do double damage. So the ones don't have to worry about too very
Why
much,
did
but the
you
siblings are
do that?
definitely the dangerous foe down here. The little squiggly root in the background is a cue that you can use to drop down here fairly easily, and then we're going to head over to the lighthouse. The void tendrils, when we first get here, we won't actually go over to look, but there's a vast sea. Well, maybe a vast sea is an exaggeration, but there's a large pit of void tendrils that are in our way, so we want to climb up to the top here to turn on the lighthouse, which will calm the void tendrils and allow us to pass and get to Shade Cloak.
That was fantastic movement until that one sibling was like, nah, you're not allowed to pass.
Yeah, and the way I
Oh, no.
understand siblings is that they do spawn in a consistent place, but then they just wander RNG.
Right.
So you never know quite what you're gonna get once you start climbing. And we're coming up on another save quit here. As soon as the pinky toe touches the void pool, we're safe to quit out.
Why would you do that
and
when
skip
there's
the
the other?
entire
Isn't
collection
there
of Shade
a
Cloak.
charm
And
after
it
that
is a
that you
hard
can
save,
dash
so
through?
we'll end up right back in the same
Oh,
place.
you end up
but
in the
we
same
skipped,
spot. Right. And it's the
the
arcane
collection.
egg, not a charm.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's a loadless time save. So even if it's like a little slower or break even RTA, this is how the run would be done.
Yeah. So like for example, if you're wanting to speedrun Hollow Knight on console does not do that because the loads are so much longer that it's not really worth it. That's something you only really see with PC.
Right.
Down here in the basement, we discovered that Sly is the nail sage. Shocker. And he grants us the Nail Master's glory since we've learned all 3 of the nail arts.
Okay. Now you've
After
bought
doing
the
all those dark
Lumafly
rooms,
lantern.
We're finally going to go ahead and purchase the lantern. Not because we particularly need it, and not because it's a percent, but because we need to fight No Eyes. And
Oh,
that's
you
the fight
can't
we
get to No
cannot do
Eyes
in the
without it.
dark. We're also picking up a vessel fragment and a mask shard here. And the shop purchases for the mask shard in particular are to set us up for getting a full mask shard at a very specific point down the road. When you get a complete mask, it heals you. And when we're in the hive, we have a high probability of needing a heal. So
Do you?
it's routed so that the hive mask shard will be a complete one.
Right.
Stopping to pick up a grub friend. And then we're going to head over to Moloch, which is one of the most strange and oddly satisfying quick kills of the run. Basically, and I hope I'm explaining this accurately, but it's loaded in the back before it actually jumps out to fight you. And with flukes, we can do enough damage that it basically never spawns.
Well, I need to get this. Okay, good. I don't know how I was holding down. I'm an analog player.
Interesting.
So sometimes that happens.
And you could see how it wasn't dead, and then one more fluke flopped into it, and that one more fluke was enough. So thank goodness there.
If that wasn't it, I don't know what I was gonna do.
I don't know
And if
why,
you get too far
how
into
you
the
play
arena,
this
if
with
the gate
analog.
closes
I have
behind
from
you,
time to
then it's
time
too
for,
late and
you know,
cannot
it's
come back.
easier on my thumb, for instance.
We'll
But
head over
D-pad,
here. There's- I think this is
2D
the
games, I
last
just love the
crossroads, though. I
precise
didn't get it
input that you
earlier
get with the
because
D-pad.
We just didn't need to. We weren't in this area.
Especially
But we're
Metroidvania
going to be headed
2Ds.
down into the teacher's archives for the Umu fight.
Yep.
And so now is the perfect time to pick up that grub.
We have a
Do the
little
charm
bit to
notches
do. I have to
count
do some
towards the
shopping. There's
percentage?
a minor boss coming up, so if you have any donations, this might be a good time.
Oh yes, pancakes
Excellent.
approaching.
Excellent, excellent. I would like to update everybody that we have reached $78,000 raised from
Nice.
the Lala Fund. Thank you, everybody, for your support and contributions to such a great cause. And speaking of grubs, I would like to remind everybody that your donation, if you do a $10 minimum donation, you'll be entered to win a Hollow Knight Grub Perler wall art. It's super cute. I saw it showcased earlier today. Check it out at gamesdoneclick.com on the prize.
Now here's a
tab.
big
And there's a
question.
couple
Do
of
you
other
need to
Hollow Knight
convert them
prizes
to
you
get
can be
enough
entered to win.
percentage into the
Check it out.
unbreakable, or are you fine without
We
doing that?
stopped at Leg Eater there just
Because if you
to,
do, then I
use
can't hit
the charms that he
112%
carries
no
that
matter
are
what
the
I do.
fragile charms, and thankfully we do not need to upgrade them into the unbreakable version.
Oh, there we go, thank you.
That would be a huge expense, and we already have a lot of expensive things we need to buy in this run. Upgrading all fragile charms is over 30,000 geo. But if you do think that sounds fun, there is a category that does that. So
Right.
there's a Hollow Knight speedrunning category for everyone.
Nope.
Yeah, we have we have an absurd meme leaderboard. Like, it is a lot. Anything you can think of, people run it.
Yeah. That boss was Elder who? I don't know. He was dead too quick. Don't know who it was. But he actually can be very much a hassle in other categories. But again, the flukes just put him down before he has a chance to rain pancakes on you. During one of his attacks, he teleports completely away and you can't do any damage. All you can do is wait. So the faster that fight goes, the better. We set a dream gate so that we will be able to return to the surface quickly because basically we're headed down here to fight a giant jellyfish.
Yep.
That jellyfish is guarding
It's pretty
a
easy,
librarian
just takes a bit of
who is
time.
also one of the dreamers. And the dreamers are all going to be hard saves, so you can't use a bench to travel back after you fight them. We have to have a dream gate set somewhere that's useful.
And also, the Dreamers heal you, which is why I don't care too much about my health here.
Yeah, so Umu has several different kinds of attacks that he can do. He has a fast attack, a slow attack.
So kind of like the
Does
Radiance
3, and
healed
then we're supposed to
me
get a
when you got to that.
guarantee
I
on
didn't
him.
realise
This
the
has, I believe,
Dream
though, there's a 25%
Dreamers
chance
did
of an
it
extra
too,
attack
but
didn't
that makes
Oh,
sense.
That's always.
Oh, that's always?
20. Yeah, even in Pantheons later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Umu is just RNG boss. It's really detrimental in any percent to get an extra attack, because in any percent they have to take like an extra dunk. For us, it's just an inconvenience. Like, we just sigh and say, oh, Umu.
Yeah, most
Thanks for the time
categories
loss.
have to do a very precise setup to even get a 2 cycle, let alone a 1 cycle. But in 106, as long as you have a clear line of sight to Umu, it's pretty much free because flukes. And here we are collecting the first Dreamer, which we haven't talked about too much. We avoided a cutscene with them at Hornet 1. We saw them briefly when we picked up our Dream Gate, and basically each Dreamer acts as a lock upon the door of the Black Egg Temple. As we go through and absorb them, we're unlocking the Black Egg Temple, which is where the final bosses are to be found. And Coral, Dadbod, thank you for your service. Coral's the homie.
Dadbot is actually his legal surname, by the way.
Yes.
Yes.
Shout outs to Mickey. And now we're going to head down to Queen's Station, not to take advantage of the stag, but to do this little Thorns Gauntlet for another one of our mask shards.
Right.
And then we're going to head back up to our Dream Gate once again and move up into Queen's Garden.
This saves time skipping animations, like I said earlier. We're going to do one more quit out on the next mass shard. And I think that's it. I think this is the last quit out that we're going to do.
Oh yeah, we're going to stop and see No Eyes before we go to Queen's Garden.
Yeah.
Almost forgot. Would like to forget.
Understandable.
No Eyes is a very, very creepy boss, just overall. And if you actually talk to her and
why
get
am I
her
like
lore. Oh no. It's fine.
Everything's fine. No one panic. I'm gonna go for a skip here. Nice, I got it. Okay, so that's called Airwalk. Airwalk can be a major glitch, but in that case is a minor glitch. I'm allowed to get a second aerial dash by dashing along the floor at a certain spot where it gives me just continued walking while in the air. No big deal. That's totally normal.
Yeah,
Very
and
Right.
some of these things sound very complicated and like, oh my god, how did anybody ever find that, or how would anybody ever learn that? But
That
you
was
know,
a
there are
very
tools
fast
to
beating
allow
of No Eyes.
practicing these things. The debug mod lets you practice things repetitively, and even with visible hitboxes, which can really be helpful in cases of stuff like the airwalk, where it's dependent on where the seams of things meet together. But No Eyes, thankfully, did not teleport away from all the flukes, and that fight went pretty well, and we got her mask shard as well.
Yeah, Noise is a terrible RNG fest because she can teleport basically anywhere more or less anytime that she wants.
Yeah, it's a 35% chance to teleport on contact, and then she also has a timer to teleport.
But
Yeah.
flukes don't interact in the normal way, so...
Right. That explains a lot with that fight.
Massive Moss Charger, I'm sorry, you're not a percent. You might be a boss, but you're not a percent. We don't need the money that Massive Moss Charger drops at this point in the run. And actually, I feel like somebody can correct me, Emre, if you know this is true. Does it not drop as much money on 1221 as it does on
Yeah,
the current
it's
patch?
like it's either 120 or 150, and on
Yeah.
later patches it's 300. So it's a
Yeah.
lot more valuable in other categories.
Yeah. But we do need to come over here to get the grub and to get this vessel fragment. And this takes care of Green Path for us.
Okay.
So now we can head back one more time to the Dream Gate that we left outside of Noise Arena, and we'll head down into Queen's Garden. Well,
Do we have
is
some
the
time for
arena
donations?
actually considered Queen's Garden? I'm not sure. Yeah, we can fit in some donations.
Oh, sure. Real quick, $100 from Alternatives to Fighting saying, Hollow Knight is one of my partners and my favorite game. We're amazed by Emre's skills. We can't wait to see the Pantheon. Thank you so much for your contribution. And we have another $100 donation from Barbaricia saying, save the nailsmith, save the frames, the world needs art. And just to update everybody on the bid war, we have saved the lead with 800.
Sorry,
and kill at
That Save the
$612.
Frames is a
So
very,
if you want to kill
very
nailsmiths, better get your donations in.
well-known
Or if you want to save nailsmiths, get ahead.
Super Metroid speed running
Congratulations
phrase.
on
It's
getting ahead.
save the animals or save the
I
frames
approve.
is the
I'm sensing
way
some
it
bias.
works. That's why I laughed there.
I don't think my bias
If you
is
don't know
specific
Super
anyway.
Metroid,
Nailsmith is one of my-
go
one
play
of
it.
my top
It
favorite
is
characters.
it is
This
my
arena that we
favorite
just finished is
Metroidvania.
everyone's top least favorite arena. Oh, that's
This
not a very good segue, never mind.
Hollow Knight
It
has
looks
managed to
simple
take
because it's just
second
full of,
place
you know, very minor
on my
enemies,
favorite
but there's so many of
Metroidvanias.
them that it just, it's a
But
bad
Super
arena.
Metroid, I mean, it's number
frustrating,
one for a number of
and it can
reasons.
go
One,
surprisingly badly,
it
you know, for
is
people
the
in this
game
but
that
Emery took care of
started
and
the
collected
genre.
Howling Reigns,
Yes, Metroid
which
2 and
unfortunately
Metroid, the
we really
original
don't
game
take
on
advantage of
NES,
in
came out
106,
before then.
partly because
But
flukes are so good.
really, Super
The only
Metroid
time you'll
is
see
what
Howling Reigns
started
really
it.
used is to get Shriek.
And
Maybe
the
a
reason
couple
for that
times
is the
in
first
Hollow
two
if there happen
games,
to be enemies,
they sold better
that
at
are above,
release,
but for the most part,
but
it's just
Super
not something
Metroid
to take advantage of.
is the
What we
one
do
that
take advantage
stuck
of
with
is
people
JK
and caused
crosses
people
that
to
allow
be
us fall into
inspired by
thorns
it.
and respawn next to a lever
So that's
instead
one of the
doing
reasons
that
it's my
little,
favorite. The other
spike
is
gauntlet. That's not something
it
you
has
can do on current patch. Don't try
a
this at home.
huge amount of
But that's a cheeky little damage respawn.
nostalgia for me for a number of reasons. It played a massive influence on my life, early life, and even later life. It was not the first Metroid game I completed, but it was the first Metroid game I ever played.
The Tower of Love is
I
not exactly where you
had
expect
some,
to find
like, I had a
such
Super
a creepy
Nintendo, my friends
character,
had a
but
Super
it is
a
what it
friend of
is.
mine had a Super
And
Nintendo.
it is one of the unique
And
keys in the game. There are
The
4
games I was
sections,
allowed to
4
play
doors that
were
have
somewhat
single
limited
locks,
because
and those
my
are all
parents were,
interchangeable.
I wouldn't
But
say
the love
strict because
key
that's
is
not
very
accurate.
specifically for the Tower
They
of
were,
Love. Kinda like the
you know,
elegant
trying
key
to, I was a kid,
to
so
give
they
it
were
soul.
trying to guard me
That was an
against things that
intentional
were
damage boost
going to
for
be
damage
too much of a
respawn
bad
again,
influence on the
and
kid's
we're gonna
mind.
head here into
So
Deepest just long enough to
they
pick up
didn't-
another grub.
They got me
I
certain
hope
games.
Emery
They
can
didn't
have
have
some
too
good
much
luck
of an
and
issue
choose
with
the
me
right
playing
grub
other
here.
games
This is
at
a
my
very
friend's
dangerous
house.
realm. It's
They
full of mimics,
just,
and, you know,
yeah, they
sometimes
just had an issue
just
with me
might pick the
owning
wrong
them,
one.
really.
Nice.
But yeah, he had
Smile
Super
if you're
Metroid,
number
so I
2.
played Super Metroid at
After
his
87,
house.
but there's not 87 mimics.
Then,
This
yeah,
green tree tends to be the one that's easiest to use to pick up essence because we have to come back here anyway, and you see how most of the essence is right along the path that we're already following. So we don't worry about completing it.
Yeah.
We just want to get up to, I believe the magic
so yeah,
number is
I played it
15
at his
or 8,
house.
so
I
Emily would want extra extra.
it influenced me when I was
this room,
5 or 6 and drawing. It
remember
gave me
casually just
this
dying repeatedly,
love
man.
for
Like, once you know
creativity.
the
It gave
cycle
me
again to get through before the enemies really have a
like,
chance
yeah,
to attack you,
I
you can get
loved
through
it.
fairly quickly.
It
And then we'll be
it was
taking
also
this
the
bench
first time
for
as a
later.
kid
I want to cover
that I ever
before we
really
actually get into this arena. We already
heard
passed those
of
little
a
bush
female
enemies,
protagonist in something
once already,
that I ever
but on
thought,
this patch,
hey,
they
look,
actually cannot hurt me,
girls can be
with the spines
badasses,
that they
although I
throw
wouldn't
out.
have
So we
used
can
that word at
safely
the time.
just
I don't know
green
what I
nail,
would have used.
for free soul.
Um,
And that's also going to be
because I
useful
got
later,
told by my friend that Samus was a
during
girl,
the
and I thought
scariest
that's
part of the run,
freaking
but we'll
sweet.
Get to that whenever we get there.
And
the spikes
yeah,
are on
before that,
the
like the
wrong,
games that I'd played on
layer
Super
to
Nintendo
actually
were
interact with the knight, so
Donkey
they
Kong,
look scary,
Mario,
but they are in
Donkey Kong
fact
Country, that is.
not even
All
there.
3 of those I owned. Loved
Headed up
those.
here,
They
we're
were
going
hard
to
as
pick up
balls.
another
Still
grub.
are.
There are 46
But,
grubs total,
yeah.
and we're well over
It's
halfway
great.
through them. Although I don't,
It's,
I'm not so good. That
Super
I know the
Nintendo
exact
was
count at this point off the
and
top
it
of my
is
head,
still my
but,
favorite console
we
to
don't
have
go to
ever
Super
come out.
Daddy until the very end of
The
run.
games
We
that
have
came
all of
out
them
on it
already.
were fantastic. The
Okay, so this is our frog
the
pack.
innovation
Y'all
of the
saw frog
creators
pack
as well
earlier
to fit as much as they
on
could
Axiom
on
Verge.
was
We
great.
also have our own variations of frog hack. Frog hack is terrible in every Metroidvania.
But yeah,
However, you
Super
cannot
Metroid
make a good
is my number
Metroidvania
one,
without a good
both
frog
because
hack.
it started the genre,
I said it.
is
I stand by
incredibly well designed. It is,
Now I know what
you
I
know,
need to do.
Add frogs to your game.
Same.
Yeah.
the environmental storytelling, the fact that
RNG is the
after the
worst
prologue
phrase
of
in
that
every
game,
platformer,
there is
and yet-
absolutely no dialogue,
yet-
and yet it conveys
If
absolutely
you are
everything it
familiar
needs
with the
to
grub
every
locations
stage
and
of the
you're worried that we
game,
forgot one, don't
entirely
worry. We
through
will pick up
the
that
environment
frog a
and
little
how you
later.
interact with things.
Again,
It
taking
is-
advantage of hitting things through walls.
it is
we actually
fantastic.
can collect that grub after we fight Trader Lord. This room that we were in just a moment ago, the room with the grub in it, is the same room as the entrance to the White Lady's house.
It really is.
So
That
even
it's
though you
just
can't get from one
very
to the
good
other, you can
storytelling.
hit from one side to the other side. Headed up this way, we're going to make our way towards Trader Lord and set a dream gate right outside of the Trader Lord fight, because there's a grub that we have to go up to the very top of Queen's Garden to rescue. And it can be a little bit of a tricky spot. There's a couple Petras up there, and if they hit you, it's easy for it to be like a wombo combo because there are thorns everywhere. But we can at least go into it with full magic because there's a couple spiny fellows around to dream nail, and that was really clean.
Yeah, as long as you do the movement correctly the first time, you're good. But if I had messed it up, that could have been kind of disastrous.
Yeah.
That was very fast.
Trader Lord is well known as somewhat of a difficult boss on
No
current
kidding.
patch. On 1.2.2.1, it's a little bit of a different story. He's not much more than a giant glorified mantis trader. He doesn't have as much HP, and he doesn't have a couple of the moves that he has on current patch. So between that and the fact that you can hit him before he's fully spawned, you can attack in the ceiling and then continue that into a quick kill, it's pretty trivial.
Wow.
He didn't even get a chance to do anything.
Yeah, he didn't
Yeah.
even scream.
Yeah. So that was Trader Lord. And now we're going to go in here and remember to pick up the grub. Hi, friend. And in here is the White Lady, who is a tree. And she is bound down.
I don't
to
remember how I got that
volition.
grub.
Don't worry about it. She's tied up because she decided to be. And she's going to grant us the first half of the King Soul. This is the Queen's fragment.
There was the
and we
second
can't do
half for me,
anything with
but,
it since it's
you
only
know,
half
this is
of
the
a
way you
piece,
do it in
but
this
we'll be
speed run.
collecting the other half a little bit later.
Her
So
design is really, really cool too. Just like how big she is and how branchy
Yeah.
she is.
And she even makes an appearance in P5. A lot of people maybe don't notice or overlook, but she is in one of the scenes with the Godseeker. And if you talk to the Godseeker, he talks about how she evades them. but she's a pretty cool character, and she will give you quite a bit of lore also. If you go back to her wearing different charms, if you go to her wearing the Grim Child, she has things to say about Grim. If you go to her wearing Defender's Crest, she has things to say about Dung Defender. And you can also attempt to bring the flower to her. So she's a very interesting character. We're making our way down here into Deep Nest. These rooms would be dark, but we did pick up the lantern, so that's kind of convenient, although these dark rooms aren't too bad. And we're going to make our way into Beast Den, aka Deep Nest Spider Town.
So right here, there's not really a whole ton going on if you want to get some donations.
For sure. We have a $25 donation from Hollow Teacher saying, Hollow Knight is one of my favorite games and opened me to a whole new world of games that I once considered impossible.
It's a great
Additionally,
game.
as a teacher myself, this cause is so close to my heart.
But yeah, if you've not played Super Metroid, if you have a Switch and you've got the basic online package, you have access to Super Nintendo stuff, including
Thank you so much for your contribution.
including that.
Do we have time for one more?
Yeah, go play it. It's great. It really is.
Saying, I'm so
A lot of
glad I
the
catch a Hollow Knight run. It's one of my favorite
a lot of
games,
the
even though it's way too hard for me to actually play it.
the
Good luck,
signatures
Emre,
and
let's keep
the
raising more money for
ideas
the
that
Malala Fund.
happen in other games, not only Metroidvanias but other things, sort of started there.
Sure.
Actually, I mean, most of them started in Metroid, like NES Metroid, but then really solidified in Super Metroid. NES Metroid, I have attempted to start playing on 5 different occasions, maybe 6 occasions, in various ways. I tried first up on Metroid Prime when you linked it with Fusion. You unlocked the original NES Metroid to play. Next time I tried was, I think you unlock it in Zero Mission, and then I tried it as an emulator a couple of times as well. But I have never gotten past like the first little area of it in Brinstar, and I would love to play through it fully. I just haven't, so I might end up doing that on the channel as well, because it can't be blind. Because I have finished Zero Mission a number of times, so I understand where certain things are just based on that.
It's a little bit buggy.
I also
That one wasn't a pun, but
I also know a little bit. I've never seen anyone else play it either, so it is a first playthrough, and there is stuff that I'm not going to know about. But I do know that, you know, what was that? Was that a weird spider in Weaver's Den? I do know that the gravity suit didn't get introduced until Super Metroid, so I know that you don't get that in there. But they're, you know, it'll be a hard play because it is a very difficult game.
And we're gonna dream nail this devout to get full magic before we head over here to drop another dream gate.
Yeah,
and head
it's a very difficult game because it starts you out not even on full health. It starts you out on only, I think it's 30 energy out of the 99 you can get. And yeah, it's a major challenge.
Scythe also spinning around, which can be a little bit of a challenge if you don't just put flukes on him and, you know, knock him out before he can even get a full cycle in.
It's really...
I always have trouble with things.
Excuse me.
Have,
The
like,
scythe
pads
that
or
spins is
projectiles,
relatively
I
easy to
struggle a lot
avoid.
with Galleon, but flukes take care of most things. We're not going to head back down to our dream gate yet. We're going to actually head up here.
So
towards
yeah, I might do Metroid as a playthrough, original Metroid.
And this is kind of a creepy area with all these
Purely because it's
silverfish enemy spitting gross things. You know,
it's a game I've
but
never
we don't have to
completed.
stay here
I've
very
only
long,
ever
thankfully.
played the
There's
start of
another
it,
really clean
and
sea dash that we can just take,
while I can't call
pick
it
up
blind
the tram
playthrough, I can call it a first playthrough. because past the
And we're
very
on our
start
way
of it,
to a fight that is one of the main
I haven't
reasons
played
why
it
we are overcharged
beyond
in this
that.
section.
And
That's going to be
so,
the Nosk fight.
you know,
we
for
have to
me,
pick up a
first
couple of
playthrough
books
means
first.
that
Don't
you've
spoil.
finished the game, and I never have.
Don't spoil. I don't want.
And I've not even
anyone
gotten
to know
halfway
what's
through
about
it
to hit them.
with that one. So I call that first playthrough still. It's not a blind playthrough though.
I was just
You
gonna say
can't
that this is
blind
another
play through a
grub that's
game
a
that
lot easier when
you
can
played
just nail our things
essentially the
through walls.
remake of.
And then we're gonna head back down here towards the secret entrance. And there is a little bit of a preview for this.
But also, I
boss
wouldn't mind
when you come the other route down toward this hot spot.
playing
And
Super Metroid again.
I think, like what I saw,
Like,
when
I love
first
it.
saw was like, what's going
I
on?
might
It's so
play it on the
confusing.
channel if people
But
are
then
interested.
eventually
I would
you
maybe
find
do
this
it as
spot
a
over here,
randomizer
and things
or
start making
a,
sense.
you know,
There is a grub that we're gonna free
sequence
here,
break as much as possible.
and then we're gonna go through another hidden
I've never
wall.
done
There's a
reverse
series
boss
of
order
hidden
because I don't
walls
want to
here.
do.
And then,
I don't like doing a hot room run.
They look like me.
If you don't know, Super Metroid hot room runs are nightmares.
And this
I've done it
very
once and I
small
hated
sort
it,
of
and I don't
maze.
want to
Like,
do it
there are
again
a
if I can
couple
avoid it.
paths
So
that
any
lead to dead ends,
randomizer I
but it's
do
not
will not
really,
require hot room
you know,
runs,
anything that would qualify as
or
a
hell
true
runs,
labyrinth or
depending on
anything.
what
It's
you want to
just,
call it.
couple
Same
twists and
thing.
turns. There is a shortcut
Mock Ball,
that
I
you
am
can
not
open.
perfect at. It takes me a few
but we're
goes
not
at
gonna
to
stop
get
that, 'cause
that,
would be
but
slow.
I will usually try it because
Taking
early
advantage
super
of flukes,
missiles.
doing weird fluke things again.
If I did this correctly, this windup is going to be approximately 7 times faster than the fight itself.
Yeah, and
There it is.
This is nice.
That was the boss fight.
Hi,
I know
Nosk.
a lot of people watching might have struggled with that boss, but we have flukes, so
Nosk is annoying.
yeah, and also we have 2 additional soul vessels, which are crucial for that quick kill, in order to have enough soul to take care of him.
The thing that's really funny to me about that one is that the flukes clearly get absorbed in a box that is around the night mimic and not like on the night mimic itself. So they're just like disappearing into thin air. It's great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to take advantage of, like, and it's not free absolutely, because you do need to know where to stand and how to do things. You can't just like throw flukes wherever you want them to go. Like, it's a different kind of precision than you know, precise actual fight, quote unquote. But flukes are just very, very fun, in my opinion, to play with. And running on 1-2-2-1 is more accessible than it ever has been. There's a very easy way to down patch the game now. This damage tank is intentional to take the faster cycle through that Garpede maze. And then we're going to be going through some more Garpede shenanigans
Oh, you can bounce on the very bottom?
on our way up to this vessel fragment.
That's fascinating.
I'm never gonna get over the name Garpede.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the enemies have such good in-game names that, like, I mean, there's no like nickname for the Garpedes that I know. I'm sure, you know, there do exist nicknames out there, but why would you give it a nickname when it's already called Garpede?
It's true.
And the charm that we picked up there, I didn't really mention too much, was Sharp Shadow. That is a charm
Love it.
that makes your Shade Dash
Favorite
basically a
charm.
weapon, and also makes it into a little bit longer of a dash.
Yeah, which took me a bit to
Another one
work
that you
out,
don't
but I did
take,
work it out in the end.
Advantage of in this category, but in categories that are very movement focused, it is used. Things like White Palace and Path of Pain individual levels, just to get you that little bit of extra speed and that little bit of extra distance, more than for the offensive capabilities. So the lower tram has 3 stops. The leftmost stop is in Deep Nest. We're here in the middle stop,
The ancient
which
basin.
is above where we fought Broken Vessel and Lost Kin earlier. And while we're here, we're going to stop by and save another grub and pick up another piece of pale ore. and we took the bench in the tram so that we're able to save quit back there after this bit. And this is a small gauntlet that is pretty easy to take care of with Shade Soul, which is why we don't bother with it earlier.
Right.
Oh wait, we have Shade Soul right here earlier. We don't bother with this earlier, I think literally just because it's slightly off to the left.
Yeah, there's no quick way to get out of here without trim.
Yeah, because at that time our save point is not anywhere close.
Fun fact though, for Rando, since we've been talking about Rando a lot, there is a background bubble near the entrance to the gauntlet itself that you can pogo to get out, which is really, really neat because it doesn't look like something you can visually pogo.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Right. Hive next. Hive
Here we
night.
have actual small, tiny 1221 bees. These are about a quarter of the size of current patch bees, and they die in one hit. So
Oh,
if
they
you're
are
used to
tiny.
bees on
Look at
current
them.
patch, these might just look cute and harmless and adorable to you, and for the most part they are, but they still can get in the way and hit you.
I want you to know
I didn't
that
realize
the
they
second
used
that
to
you
be
said
small.
The first part of that sentence was whenever I got hit.
Look at how small they are.
Just not speak like in, oh, this could happen. I don't want anything bad.
Why
to
did they
happen.
make 'em
These are
bigger?
just facts. There's a really
Thanks,
slick
Paula.
dream nail that you can get here off of the small bee. And I guess I don't know that I explicitly mentioned earlier, but dream nailing enemies is not just for swag. It's because dream nailing enemies gives you soul. And we
Yes.
did take a hit from that level 3 Grimkin, which did double damage, but that went fairly well.
Yeah, that's pretty expected. So,
Yeah.
as long as nothing else catastrophic happens, we'll be fine. We're coming up on our friend Big B. Everyone in the community just calls him Big B, like one word.
Why?
And we need him to come break a wall for us.
Oh,
That was
right, him.
almost perfect. Come on. Let's go.
One more
Good Big
bounce would
B.
have put it there. All right, and so you see here, this is the shard I talked about.
Big
earlier
B.
that fills
Yeah,
mass
that makes
pores and
sense.
gives
I thought
us
you were
some
talking
much
about
needed heal,
the
because
night.
Hive is
Hive
very,
night.
very dangerous, and we're not out of danger yet because we still have to go get Hive blood. Oh my God, Big B.
Was that B
Oh my
upside
God,
down?
Big B.
That bee was upside down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought I saw.
Yeah.
What?
Oh
I
my goodness.
missed
Good
that.
on you.
I want to see
Okay.
that. So hang on.
Was that?
Because we still have to go get Hive
Who's
blood.
upside down? Oh, yeah, he was. Okay.
Was that B
Oh my
upside
God,
down?
Big B.
That bee was upside down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought I saw.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Good
So-
video game.
Hang on, you can
We've
skip
got a very
Hive Night?
clean Hive Night skip here from Emre, and the way you accomplish that skip is by playing on 1221. A lot of people I've heard think that the Hive is DLC. The Hive itself is not DLC, but Hive Night is. And
Oh.
that is one that's not included. 1221 is the Hidden Dreams and the Grim Troop DLCs. So the Lifeblood DLC is 1.3.
Oh. So Hive Night didn't
That's
exist
why,
yet.
like, we have categories for 106%, which is this patch. 107 can be done on any of the later patches, and then 112 is probably the most popular max percent category.
Yeah, there's a big thing in my notes for this that is don't spoil Hive Night. Just because the Hive Night skip.
Thank you for that, by the way.
This here is kind of the back door to Isma's Grove. If you were to continue to the left, you'd actually end up where you got Isma's Tier, but we're just popping in quickly to get a grub, and then we're going to head over here to the back door of the Hive for another grub.
Yep.
And that little dash over the acid.
And
that
there's
we
really
did
no
there
way
was
to
one of the
connect the
small
two
optimizations
realms,
that
the
you
two-
might not
the
notice if
two
you were
Hive
watching the speedrun
realms
for the
there.
first time, but
I say realms.
dashing over the acid
Areas.
is just a little bit faster than swimming through the acid.
It's very precise right there. I got it the first time, but not the second time. I always get hype whenever I get it both.
Yeah, and you can tell, I mean, just how narrow that little tunnel that the acid is in is, and just the level of precision needed for those kind of tricks is hard to get them every single time.
Right.
We're gonna head up Kingdom's Edge this time to an area. Oh wait, first we have to go down. I almost forgot. We'll drop a Dream Gate here, and we're gonna go down and take care of Markoth. And getting enough soul there serves a couple purposes. We want to have enough to put all the flukes on Markoth, and we want to start on the right side.
So,
because his shield will spawn on the
let
right
me
side.
know.
So,
Steel
you see there, we
soul
finished in 3 flukes, but
mode.
we did have
Steel.
a backup cast just in
Yeah, I
case.
think that's what it's called,
With
right?
the platforms, sometimes the flukes can
does it-
basically bounce off the platforms to the point where they don't.
If
end up
you
hitting the
die,
boss.
are you
And if
okay
Markoth's
and just
shield
respawn at the
catches
bench,
them,
but
the
you
shield
can't die a
actually
second
will
time,
fully
or is it
just
you can't
absorb them,
die
and, you know, you
at
miss
all?
the damage
As
as
in, you
well.
can't lose your last
Then we
mask.
Dream Gate back
'Cause
here,
if
and we're
it's
gonna be climbing
the
up
secondary,
and over to the
then
collector.
could always just play it
Um,
safe and make your way back
This is a boss
to
that can be a little bit of a
weird
pain in the
genie
butt, but
person
there
who
is a
I'm pretty
consistent
sure is there
experience
to give you your
that
soul
will
back
allow
based
us
on what
to
what
get
they
in a
talk
bunch
about.
of damage at the start while he's still cackling.
In which case, I
fight.
might give
Um,
Steel Soul
there's
mode a
couple
go
of,
at some point.
mosquitoes in here that we can just take advantage of for
But
soul,
if it's
and then there are
if it's
very
can't
consistent
die at
visual
all,
cues
that
to set up
sounds
this.
nightmarish, and I'm not sure I want to do that.
And the one thing
So
you
let
have to
me
be
know
careful of doing this
if
is
you
not to use
watched
more
this
than
far,
6
which
sets
one of the two
flukes,
it is.
because the collector can underflow, and if the HP goes below 0, he becomes invincible. So that was a really flawless fight, pretty much. And
Very nice.
up here, we're going to get our reward, the best reward of all, which is 3 grubs that we'll be freeing.
And
I did put the
and
Dream
grub
Gate down,
map,
right?
which I only needed for one.
I hope so. I kind of autopiloted that.
I think so, but I'm not actually sure.
Okay, I feel like you might have yelled at me, like you would have realized.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah, because well,
Okay.
that's one of those things. It's so easy to have a muscle memory because you open the door and then you place the Dream Gate while the door is opening.
Yeah.
And you do it so naturally that it's easy to be like, question mark? But I think you would notice more if you were standing there like watching the door open and not do anything. So we're grabbing a little bit more soul here, and then we're going to head into town and take care of a couple errands. A few more grubs,
Yep.
and then
And do you
another
need to
fight
go
that is
into
usually
the-
hard that is trivialized by flukes.
You need to go into the spa
We're also
thing.
going to be
Be a good time.
upgrading our nails shortly.
I don't
No.
know that you would need to.
No, we still have plenty of time.
Would this be a good time for donations or?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry to
Oh,
butt in.
I thought you were asking, like, is it time? Because we were talking about the nailsmith.
No. I just wanted to get in some donations here. We have some wonderful ones coming in.
Hang on, how do you open it from that side?
Donation from Gregor Mudkey saying.
Oh,
"Hey,
right.
for
We'll
the
have
runner,
been hitting
good game
everything
from
through
the Lava
walls, so I
Fund."
guess that's
Thank you
just
so
another
much for
one
your
you can.
contribution. And another $125 donation from Lexer saying, I love seeing Hollow Knight on GDQ. This money is for 2 good causes, Malala Fund and Saving the Nailsmith. Thank you so much. And a $13 donation from Non-Binary Code saying, a lucky $13 towards Nail Save Smith. Wait, that can't be right. Save Nailsmith. Yeah, that's it. And again, fast fights, Hollow Knights, and trans rights.
So you
Absolutely.
can't skip through this?
And one last $10 donation from Chalk Focado saying, not the Nailsmith. Thank you so much for your contribution. And just to update everybody on our grand total, we have $78,000. Oh, $78,750.
Okay, so there's no fast way through this annoying fight aside from blast them with flukes.
Close to hitting 79k. And just to remind everybody, we do have 2 bid wars open. One for
Well, if flukes are this
Nailsmith,
powerful,
another for the custom skin for the
can
donation
I
today.
eliminate
Has
Zote
Pantheon
really
of
frickin'
Hollow Knight.
fast
So
by
be sure
taking
to get your
flukes
donations
with
in
me?
and bid on those custom skins.
Because that would be great.
So,
Oh,
bonus
and there's
6%
things to make
is the
spells more
category that
powerful,
gets to
right?
own the
There's a
crown
charm for
the
that.
fastest Watcher Knight fight. It's so fast that we don't break the chandelier. So you might be in chat going, wow, she can maybe beat it so much faster if she just broke the chandelier. It's actually slower because we killed them so quickly.
So if we
That's just the power of
take
flukes.
the fluke charm, and we take the one that
And this is another example of flukes being very fast but also very precise. If you miss even one single fluke out of 2 fluke casts, you do not kill the Watch Knight. So your positioning is
But if we
very, very
take
important
that
to make sure
and
all the
we
flukes land on them.
take the thing that
'Cause
increases
if
damage
one
of
misses and
spells,
a Watcher doesn't die, then that can throw off your rhythm for
and
all
the
of
thing that
rest of the
reduces the
Watchers.
cost of spells,
And with
can
that,
we
we're
just
selecting
fly
our third
through-
gamer, Lurian the Watcher, and have unlocked the black.
hang on,
Egg.
how
That means
many
it's time to go
slots
beat
do
the
we
game,
need?
right?
Fluke one is
If you
2.
want to just get the bad ending, quote unquote,
the-
yes.
The thing to
Also,
increase the
getting
power of
final
spells
dreamer
is 2.
unlocks
The
one
thing
more
to
thing.
reduce the cost
There's
is
another
2.
boss that we're
That's
gonna fight
6.
that is only unlocked once we've
I have
defeated
another
all the
5.
dreamers.
That gives me enough
And we're gonna
for
go do him real quick as soon as
for,
we get
um,
our nail upgrades. We're not getting all the nail upgrades. We don't have all the pale lore for it yet, so don't worry. It's
I
not
think I
time
can
for the
afford
good
that,
work
right?
yet. You guys still have your plenty of
if
time to get
with
your
spiders
donations in for
and
Saber Kill. We'll
grub
just go and
song,
say hi to Ronnie
weaver
Joe
song
real
and
quick.
grub song,
Yes, and once we get over there, I mentioned earlier.
and then I
it
can
tells
just
us
fly
what his name is.
through
You
just
guys will have
about
an
all of the
opportunity to
enemies if
listen,
I'm
judge for
understanding this
yourselves.
right.
And
I can just blast through
see
them and
if
hopefully
the
get through
community
Zote
lore
really
is
easy.
accurate. Our friend Lem helping us.
I'm gonna
out here.
try it.
We're going to be getting 3 nail upgrades. So we need. That's what most of this.
Yeah, I'm
money
gonna
is for.
try it
The
after
first
this is
nail
done,
upgrade is
and add it
Geo.
onto the video that
second
I've
nail
recorded.
upgrade is Geo
So
and
you
one
would have
pale ore,
already
and the
seen the
third is
result
Geo and 2 pale ores.
before seeing
And the
this, I
fourth,
guess.
following
because
along
that
the same
seems like
lines
a
as
really
the
good
back 4
idea.
layers, Geo and 3 pale ores.
Um,
Here he is.
I don't know if it'll work or not. So I'll watch
What do you
that.
think, Chad? Is his name Ronnie
Let's
Joe?
see.
It's
Yeah, so
definitely
you do the
Ronnie Joe.
Pantheon at the end here,
100% Ronnie Joe.
Vote
as
now,
well
vote
as
with your
Path
heart,
of
vote for
Pain,
love.
I think.
Okay, the reason that we're getting
No,
the
that's
nail
not
upgrades now
Pantheon.
is
Oh, I don't think it's
partly
in this
because of White
video.
Defender, but also because
Maybe it
we're
is.
shortly, well, relatively shortly going to be headed toward the Colosseum. And while the majority of our damage throughout the main part of the run has been magic, having a powerful nail helps a lot in Colosseum.
Oh, I
because
wouldn't be
in
surprised.
combination with nail arts, particularly like Great Slash, you're able to one-shot enemies. So like Primal Aspids in the Colosseum, you're able to one-shot with a Great Slash on Nail 3. And that makes things a lot easier. And of course, using those nail slashes to farm the soul in order to have magic.
White Defender?
for the other sections. Dung Defender's just sleeping down here. He's one of the funnest bosses.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
He's just having a little snooze. A few of the bosses in the game you do not actually kill, you just defeat, and Dung Defender is one of those.
So White Defender can't be knocked out of the ground like Dung Defender can, which is why you're not seeing the dives. We're just gonna fluke them up.
I get it.
Yep, and if you're fast enough, this fight is just
Oh, you
over
can hit that while
before
it's in the
he
air.
has a
That's
chance
kinda
to
cool.
Or I was gonna say, we got a little bit of volleyball time there. You can keep him airborne indefinitely if you can get the rhythm down, but it can be, I have to admit, I never mastered it, so I'm always like unduly impressed when people do the volleyball. It can be a lot safer.
I didn't get any of those dream nails, did I? Even whenever he came out of the ground. What the heck, game?
Rude.
Extremely rude.
Okay. And now you see we have 2,400 essence. And that was our magic number. Whenever I was in Queen's Garden, remember I got 1 extra. That's how precise our essence routing actually is. And 2,400 is what we need to get the final percentage from Seer.
Yeah, when you
in the
tell her to, hey, we've got everything,
And we'll
bye.
also be collecting the second half of the Seer rewards, well, obviously before the final reward.
So is
which
that where
quite a
you're
bit
going
of,
next? Go
you know,
to
relics
see, going to
and
the
other
resting
items.
grounds?
But before we do that, we're gonna head back to Dirtmouth and do some
Okay.
shopping. And we're finally gonna go.
Do you have
and
the money to
visit,
go shopping? You've only got 500, don't you?
So
What do you
This
want to
whole
buy
next
that's
section would
for
be a
500?
great time for donations if there are some. And I'm actually gonna BRB really quick.
Yeah, we have like a minute and a half of literally just sitting there, so it's all you.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, everybody, we are so close to reaching $75,000 total raised for Malala Fund, and we have some wonderful donations coming in. $125 from Final Fantasy X Faith saying, "I'm so excited to see Hollow Knight during Frame Fatales. Thank you so much to everyone who is making this event as amazing as
This
it is.
is really
This
good.
donation goes towards seeing an amazing runner.
But
crush
this
the
seems
classic
like a
Knight
good place to
after she
pause it for me to come back to later. So we're gonna jump back a few seconds just so that we're coming back in knowing what's happening. And I'm gonna take another little bit of a break because we're at 2 hours 17 minutes 4 seconds, which means there's another hour of this roughly, a little over, because it's 3 hours 18 minutes is the total length of the video. But yeah, we're going to come back to this, and yeah, this is I'm having loads of fun. I don't know about anyone else. I don't know how many people are actually going to watch me watching a speedrun like this, but it's loads of fun. Emre's pretty good. Okay. So that brings us to the end of the second episode of the Hollow Knight speedrun reaction. Hope you enjoyed it. Be kind to yourself, be kind to each other. Thanks for watching, and have a good one. See you in the next video. Bye.